Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where Manchester United I feel they have to win this game now. Got to get something out of the match. It was embarrassing, of course, what we've seen. A real opportunity for them to bounce back. And as I say, if they can win the game, they actually go above Liverpool. But Liverpool are the best pressers in Europe, one of the best we've ever seen. And if they try and pass out from the back again, it's going to end with disaster for them. So I assume they're going to miss out that press and they're going to try and play the ball much more direct. And they'll be hoping that Ronaldo is in the mood. And I think this story around Ronaldo is really disappointing. He's the most coveted player the club has perhaps ever had. You think about what he's achieved around the world. I would like him really to commit to the club in a better way than he is right now. He's been a great player, and maybe the greatest thing he can do right now is just commit to the club and get behind the cause. It's a very different Manchester United. But
Can he still do that now? Can he still commit to the club after
I understand that he has high standards, and that when he doesn't win, he reacts, and it's not about it. It goes against everything he has learnt. But I think sometimes you've got to just do the best you can. And what's he going to do at 37 now when he goes to a new club? What's he really going to achieve? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's still doing this at 45. Maybe it's Peter Pan we're watching and not Ronaldo. But I would just like him to knuckle down. It doesn't sit right for me. He's such a huge figure. The players would look up to him. Maybe it feels like he's going in one direction and the rest of the players are going in the other. It's not just about Ronaldo, of course, but it would go some way to healing things if he committed more to the club.
So it's been a far from perfect start for Liverpool. It's been a shocking start for United. Who needs to win this more? Who's under most pressure?
Manchester United are under pressure. For
Liverpool,
sure.
none?
Well, it's a reputational pressure.
They've faltered, Liverpool.
Well, look, there's been two difficult games. The game at Fulham was difficult for Liverpool. I thought after winning the Community Shield, maybe they were a little bit complacent. Maybe they didn't do the
just back
hard
up.
graft.
First game in the Premier League, it was expected Liverpool would win it comfortably.
I think they fell into that trap a little bit, and credit to what Fulham did that day. But to lose a player in the manner that they did the other night, I thought actually they were quite magnificent when they went down to 10 players. But Núñez getting sent off didn't help their cause.
They're both under pressure in this game. Who wants to be the side that gets beaten by a stinking Man United right now? Certainly not Liverpool, right? So they're both under pressure. Man United are under pressure because they've gotten spanked by Brentford. Everyone's expecting a reaction. If they get their heads handed into by Liverpool, the headlines keep on rocking through. If Liverpool don't beat Man United, a team that's just got smashed by Brentford and turned over at Old Trafford by Brighton, they've got some questions to be asked and answering. Bottom line, what it has is all the jeopardy of a game that you'd want in English football. It's one of the biggest games in English football. And tragically, it's not one of the biggest teams in English football performance-wise in Manchester United. But what it brings on is you're going to be like someone watching, if you're a Man United fan, like watching Doctor Who from behind the couch. You don't really want to watch it because it frightens you when you were a kid, but you keep looking over the top to see what the horrors are that you're actually looking at. You're going to see it from that point of view. I think that you might see a better performance from Man United just out of pure professional pride from some of those players. And if the manager sets them up properly and gives them a bleeding chance tactically, they might have a bit more of a chance than they had against Brighton. Not paying a vertically challenged centre-half against a 6'2" might give you some chances.
If we see them, Simon, what do you think the scale of any pre-match United fans' protest might be?
Well, I don't like to give light to these things because I don't feel that they're worthy of it. And I don't think it helps anybody. Everyone's got the message. The memo's not one that you don't have to follow. Everyone's read it. You don't want the Glazers anymore, and you're going to keep that sentiment irrespective of what they do and don't do going forwards. I really don't think people like Gary Neville, and we do give him a lot of airtime, and I'm guilty of it myself, should be saying some of the things that he says about potential changes of direction in ownership. I've seen he's been attributed with a quote, or said it himself on his own social media, about the Glazers selling a part of their business to an American equity firm.
Well, on his Twitter feed, he says if the reports are true that the Glazers are ready to sell ahead of a full sale, it's totally unacceptable that this is to a US investment fund. Apollo have been mentioned, but they need to know they will not be welcomed in Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, I find this sort of stuff ridiculous because, first of all, the global economist known as Gary Neville that sold and bought Salford with the Peter Lim that has a reputation in football which isn't the greatest, needs to pare it back a little bit. It wasn't so long ago that anybody but the Glazers would do. Anybody but the Glazers is the prescription right now. And now it's anybody but the Glazers choose. And what the idea is that because American money coming into English football is going to change the way that football's funded, what you want is this utopian world where somebody from the Middle East comes into your football club, doesn't care about the consequence of how much money it costs, and just keeps on giving you money, so it can keep on going to the players, keep on going for acquisition policies, wages can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and no commercial disciplines are ever put into play. Nobody's allowed to make any return from football. It's a moral outrage, according to Gary, that anybody makes any money out of football besides players, agents and managers. And it's just silly. This is big business, and big business is going to be sold to people. And the next person that walks through the door, the United fans, he's not going to be Daddy Warbucks. Jim Redcliffe isn't going to ride in on some sleigh, dropping Christmas presents everywhere for the Man United fans. He's going to want some sort of economic return. This is not a philanthropic opportunity to dump £4.5 billion of your cash on those oh-so-desiring Man United fans.
Who had a list of conditions yesterday.
Who had a list of conditions yesterday,
If we take it, if I dare bring it back to the game just for a moment, it's just when you think about this rivalry between these two clubs cements, and it just might be the game to get Man United fans back believing in their football club and the players back on that first run.
I'll make your mind up, me, myself and Irene. About 5 minutes ago, you said they couldn't do it in a week.
I don't believe that they can do it, but they've got to believe they can do it. I mean, this is a winning machine, Liverpool. They're ruthless in the extreme. They've got injury issues. There's problems all around. The manager telling us he's only got one fit striker to choose from in midweek, and he's now suspended. So there are problems there, and it's like they've got to exploit that, Manchester United.
Okay.
But what they've got to do is one of those. You want characters, you want leaders, and you want the players to think for themselves. It's another.
Who wins it, Martin?
I think Liverpool will win it. Because it's too big a gap to fill. You can't go from losing 4-0 at home away at Brentford to beating Liverpool in the next game.
Martin Keown, we want to thank you for being invincible and for just being you. 1-to-1, boy.
Thank you for the plug.
On
It was so
Monday.
kind.
That was lovely. Come back in that fetching little tennis top.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.